Is there a particular, let's say, a subtle shift or a biomarker that you keep an eye on that because it usually gets flagged too late, right? You mentioned the A1C, it's usually flagged when it hits that 5.7. So is there something that early detection that a patient can look out for on their own?
I would say there are other tests. For example, there's something called the HOMA-IR calculation. So if you check a fasting insulin level and a fasting blood sugar, you could actually take those values and calculate HOMA-IR. And basically, that could give you some insights into insulin resistance. And so that could occur before you even get prediabetes. Your A1C is still under the threshold of 5.7, but nonetheless, it's going on in the background. You just don't see it, right? It's asymptomatic typically. Like prediabetes, even before that, you're not going to have symptoms. Prediabetes potentially you could start even developing some end organ damage, some neuropathy potentially, maybe even early kidney damage. It certainly sets you up for type 2 diabetes, and the higher A1C, the higher risk. Unfortunately, even with prediabetes, like there's typically no symptoms. I think it's important to work with a doctor, get some basic tests, even check your insulin, calculate that HOMA-IR, check inflammatory markers, things like homocysteine, potentially ferritin, high sensitivity CRP. These are some other biomarkers that don't necessarily tell you if you have prediabetes or insulin resistance, but they are putting it all together. You can get a holistic picture of what might be going on. Obviously, the continuous glucose monitoring is another great tool.
So do you, because fasting insulin is usually not included in annual blood work, do you suggest
Yep.
that in addition to the fasting glucose that maybe someone could ask for it?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. And I check it in most people. It's a little bit more of an expensive test, but nonetheless, I think it could be warranted. Now, if you're particularly having trouble with weight or if you've gained weight recently and it's somewhat unexpected, or you're frustrated, you've tried everything, you've met with a bunch of doctors, something feels off. All the labs are normal. Some people just, they're not going to see stuff on their labs. You just talk to the person, you listen to them a little bit, and you look at them and gosh, they're overweight. Look at their lifestyle. They're sitting behind a desk all day. They're staring at a computer screen. They're not necessarily interacting and socializing with friends and family. They're not physically active. They're eating junk, fast food, and it's not their fault. They don't have time. Maybe it's financial. Maybe there's not a lot of great sources of nutritious and quality food around them. There could be so many different elements to this. I think at the end of the day, if you're an adult, you should be at least working with a primary care doctor. Get your physical, get some basic lab tests, make sure you're not missing anything.